Welcome to Oxford Community Television News. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. And coming up in the news this week, find out what company intends to build a building in downtown Oxford and why is there so much smoke from the public about another building in the Oxford business area.
Stay tuned and learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. A woman reported to the Oakland County Sheriff that she was assaulted while visiting an ex-friend's home in Oxford, although she could not recall complete details of the skirmish because she had been drinking. Police photos do show injuries to her face. However, the woman refused to press charges.
Oakland County Sheriff deputies were called to the 300 block of Trillium this week by an Oxford woman who reported several items had been stolen from her car, including several prescription drugs, but police determined that the car had been left unlocked. So keep your cars locked if you want to keep yourself safe.
An Oxford woman reported to village police that her boyfriend took her house keys and refused to bring them back. Police intervened about the keys and they were quickly returned by the boyfriend.
Oxford police were dispatched to Gillespie Street this week where a homeowner reported that her sterling silver place settings were missing. The home was checked for possible unlawful entry, but there were none. The police did not find anything, so the police filed a report and are continuing the investigation.
Now, the Genesis Credit Union submitted plans to build a 3,300 square foot building with an attached drive-through on Washington Street property, currently which has 3 homes on it, which will be raised first. The new facility would bring additional property tax money to the village, township, and downtown development authority. A rezoning request and site plan will be presented to the Oxford Village Planning Commission on Tuesday, March 4th at 7 p.m.
The Oxford Village Planner suggested a change to the downtown zoning ordinance, raising the hair on the neck of village residents. A smoke shop called BDT quickly became a topic of local discussion when it was learned that the shop specialized in articles of interest to drug users, as the shop offers a wide selection of glass pipes, rolling papers, and items associated with smoking marijuana. BDT's business card states that a 15% discount is available to all medical marijuana patients who present their medical card. The issue is still under consideration.
The North Oakland Transportation Authority, or NOTA, provides low-cost subsidized transportation to senior citizens, disabled individuals, and low-income folks in this area. Due to loss of over $400,000 in state grant monies, NOTA board members hope that a millage proposal placed on an August ballot would solve their fundraising problems. But further investigation of the prospect revealed that NOTA had no taxing powers of its own. So, in an attempt to solve the problem, the NOTA board requested Oxford, Addison, and Orion Township boards to each place the millage proposal on their respective ballots. Wait, there's more. The villages of Oxford and Lake Orion both have Downtown Development Associations, or DDAs. Under regulations, a portion of the revenue generated by a NOTA millage, if approved by the voters, would be captured by those DDAs to support downtown-related activities, projects, and staff. The legal opinion was disappointing to the NOTA board, and they will now have to find other innovative ways to find revenue.
With a look of pure joy on her face, Daniel Oxford student Lucinda Hasselton nailed a whipped cream pie to the face of her principal, Chad Boyd. But she's not going to get in trouble for her actions. The actions that she took will actually be rewarded for the crime. The pie in the face is raising at least $30,000 needed to improve the Mechanic Street School. Great job, kids, and thanks to Chad for his great example of good sportsmanship for a good cause.
You know, Terry, that's got to be a tough thing, take a pie in the face. Has that ever happened to you?
That's never happened to me, but I have taken a pie, period.
Oh.
You know those Thanksgiving days when there's a bunch of pies left over? I usually
I see, you didn't have to pull it off your face like he did, but you know, that's great community spirit,
yeah,
I think.
It really is, and let's hope that they raise the funds that they need to improve that school. It's been around for a long time, and it's a great, stable building in this community.
Well, it sounds like the kids did a great job raising $30,000.
They must have had a lot of fun doing it, too.
Maybe we should hire them for the station.
let's bad, Elgin. And then that's it for the local Oxford news this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, pick up a copy of your Oxford Leader at any local store.
And coming up next on OCTV, more news. First, Oxford Local Sports with Rod Wright. Then, join Dave Kinney with his Automotive Talk Show and Science in the News programs. Right after their reports, I'll be back with your friendly calendar. I'm sorry, friendly. It is friendly, but weekly calendar of events.
This is Oxford Community Television. I'm Terry Stiles.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 88 children is diagnosed with autism. That's a 1,000% increase in the last 40 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kinney, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, with its sensuous lines and sporty proportions, the redesigned Mercedes-Benz S-Class Coupe is going for the jugular of its pricey rivals. The most advanced new feature is what Mercedes calls active curve tilting, causing the vehicle to lean into bends much like a motorcyclist, thereby reducing the lateral acceleration acting on the vehicle's occupants, according to Thomas Weber, board member for R&D. Initially, it'll be sold in the United States this fall as the S550 Coupe with all-wheel drive and 4.7-liter bi-turbo V8 that generates 449 horsepower. The S-Class Coupe's wheelbase is 116 inches with a length of 198 inches. Safety and convenience features include pedestrian detection, radar-based distance control, lane and cross-traffic assistance, night vision, adaptive high beams, and autonomous braking. Yikes. A special edition of one S550 model will have unusual headlights with 47 Swarovski crystals, 30 in the turn indicator, and 17 in the angular daytime running lamps. A touchpad that understands handwriting controls the multimedia from in front of the armrest. A heads-up display is optional and gives speed and navigation instruction as well as driving assistance systems messages. Wow. I don't know what the price is, but boy. Well, in our next story, after a 2-year delay, the Detroit Police say they will use a common standard to rate the towing capacities of their light-duty pickups. The standard will allow shoppers to compare accurately the towing capability of pickups. It should also reduce confusing claims from automakers. The marketing confusion won't end, though, because the standard applies only to light-duty pickups. For heavy-duty pickups, automakers will still rate the vehicles with their own standards. Spokesman for Ford Motor Company and Chrysler Group confirmed 2 weeks ago that they will join Toyota in using a towing standard adopted by the industry in 2009 to rate 2015 model full-size light-duty pickups. A spokesman for General Motors said it too will adapt the standard if its competitors also do. The standard establishes various tests for towing. Under the automaker's 2009 agreement, the standard, which is likely to reduce rated towing capacities by several hundred pounds, was to be in place for the 2013 model year. But Ford decided not to publish lower tow ratings for its 2013 F-150, spurring automakers, the other automakers that is, to follow suit. Toyota was the only pickup maker to adopt a standard called SAE J2807, and it did so 2 years early for the 2011 model year when it dropped the tow ratings for its full-size Tundra pickup by 400 pounds. And the bragging rights keep going on. On the recall front, North American Toyota dealers will be asked to reprogram software in about 713,000 Toyota Prius cars that are being recalled to fix a hybrid control unit glitch that can cause the cars to automatically shut down and enter a limp home fail-safe mode. Toyota Motor Corporation has announced the global recall of the third-generation hybrid vehicle, the flagship of the car's gasoline-electric fleet. The global callback extends to 1.9 million Prius models, making it the biggest recall of the world's best-selling hybrid. About 713,000 of those cars are in North America. The software update should take about 40 minutes, Toyota spokesman Shino Yamato said, but if the update doesn't take, a control module would need to be replaced, a fix taking about 3 hours. Dealers were to be notified February 12th, Toyota said. And still on the deep recall front, General Motors says it is recalling about 778,500 older model Chevrolet Cobalt and Pontiac G5 compact cars in North America to correct a condition that may allow the engine and other components, including airbags, to be unintentionally turned off. In the affected cars from model years 2005 to 2007, the weight of a key ring, road conditions, or some other jarring event may cause ignition switch to move out of the run position, turning off the engine and most of the car's electrical components, GM said in a statement. GM was aware of 5 frontal impact crashes and 6 front seat fatalities in crashes where the front airbags did not deploy, a company spokesman said. All of the crashes occurred off-road and at high speeds where the probability of serious or fatal injuries was high regardless of airbag deployment, according to the spokesman. Failure to wear seatbelts and alcohol use were also factors in some cases. GM was also aware of 17 other crashes involving some type of frontal impact and non-fatal injuries where airbags did not deploy, the spokesman said. Dealers will replace the ignition switch at no charge, but GM advised that until the fix is made, customers should remove non-essential items from their key rings. As a matter of fact, GM no longer makes either car. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
And roll, we say, we want you to be okay. And roll, we say, take care of people for goodness sake. There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
I'm John Ochins with a look at Oxford Wildcat news for the week of February 10th, 2014. Wednesday, February 12th was Midwinter Count Day. This is important because it determines the final 10% of our school funding for this year. The first 90% was based on the October count. Monday the 17th is Midwinter Break Day for the schools. Tuesday, the elementary school is closed for a professional development day, but Leonard will be open to make up for a snow day. The Director of International Programs, Chun Chun Tang, says the Chinese winter camp was a success. The 18 Chinese elementary and middle school students and teachers are safely home now after enjoying a week's activities with their host families that included everything from a Pistons game to snow tubing. The highlight of the week was a celebration of the Chinese New Year on January 31st. Chun Chun says the next exchange is hoped to be a 3-week cultural and study trip to China with some of our high school students. These would be kids who have had several years of study learning the Chinese Mandarin language. The Oxford Middle School students presented their annual play this week. This time it was Wait, I Can Explain. This is an annual project the students begin preparing for at the start of the school year. The play is about a teen who hires some fellow actors in an effort to impress his girlfriend. It all falls apart from there, and they did a wonderful job. That's the Wildcat School News for the week of February 10th. Thanks for watching. I'm John Ochins for Oxford Television, and I'll be back next week.
I don't know what's happening. Start a new chat. What did I do? Okay. Wow. That is so weird.
Hey! Hi!
Oh my gosh. Hi! God, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm so nervous. Gia, you're so big. Come closer to the camera. Wait, now you're in my face. That was so good.
Now, while we were all watching the slopes at the Olympics, the Holly Oxford girls and boys varsity ski teams took to the slopes this past week in the Southeastern Michigan Ski League's divisional championships, with the girls taking 4th in the division and the boys winning 1st place at the meet. While the boys won the divisional championship race, Coach Phil Nemo said he can't be disappointed they lost the season with a tiebreaker to Grand Lake and ended up finishing 2nd overall. The girls finished fourth in the division, with which Nemo said, they are a young team that made a lot of progress in the division that has a lot of talent on one of the most competitive seasons ever, and the future looks good for the girls moving forward. Now back to basics is what was told to the Oxford boys basketball team, and they took it to heart after their 2-point loss to Farmington and are once again on a 4-game winning streak with their latest 68-42 win over Berkeley High School on February 6th. Now the winning streak kicked off January 24th when the Wildcats defeated Stony Creek Cougars 60-48. Junior sharpshooter Connor Elzerman had a game high of 29 points. An added effort from junior guard Dell Alexander and senior center Alex Hesse. From there, the boys beat Harrison High School 57-38. The boys then defeated Hazel Park 57-46 on February 3rd. Even though the Vikings entered the second half with a solid 18-10 lead, the shooting duo of Elzerman with 20 points and Hesse with 16 points and 17 rebounds proved to be too much. Despite how well they're playing right now, though, Coach Henning feels his boys can still do better. While currently in second place in the league with an 8-6 overall record and a 6-2 league record, Henning said if they continue to play their style of ball, they're going to be in the running for the league championship. The Lady Wildcats earned a hard-fought 45-34 victory over Rochester High on February 4th, with Sky Donaldson leading the charge and playing all 32 minutes, contributing 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Other strong contributors for Oxford were Samantha Medici with 11 points, including 3 3-point shots at critical points in the game. Jessica Murphy, who contributed 10 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals. Now, despite the win, the Lady Cats were unable to continue the momentum into the February 7th game against Rochester Adams, where they took a heartbreaking 20-43 loss. The Wildcats have 3 games remaining in the regular season and are hoping to bounce back. There's even a chance the Wildcats could get some revenge against Adams in the district semifinals, as they will face the winner of the Clarkston-Adams first-round matchup. 12 Wildcat wrestlers won at individual districts on February 8th and will advance to individual regionals on February 15th. After losing the Clarkston Wolves by only 8 pins earlier in the season, the Oxford boys bowling team were looking to get even on February 7th. The Wildcats came out with a 6-4 lead after the Baker games, winning Game 1 207-202, but losing Game 2 236-233. Both games went down to the final frames before being decided, and after 3 bowlers, the Oxford team was seeing their OAA title slipping away. Then came to the rescue their captain, Sean McKinney. The Wildcats were able to win the match 17-13 by just 9 pins. Now, this win ties Oxford and Clarkston with 8-1 records for the top spot in the OAA Red Division. The 2 teams have bowled twice with just 1 pin separating them. Now, girls varsity bowling also battled Lake Orion this past week on February 3rd, with needing a win to give them hope for an OAA title. The Oxford girls have had a couple of girls with injuries, so JV bowlers Annie Johnson and Kelly Caldwell made their varsity debuts. Lake Orion put the match away early, winning both the Baker games and all 5 matches in Game 1, but the Oxford girls didn't quit. In Games 2, the Cats bowled an impressive 9-12 game led by sophomore Hannah Farmer's 266 game, with Alyssa Hurlbert's tossing a 180 in support. The teams will bowl away next in the OAA crossover on February 14th at 5 Star Lanes in Sterling Heights. Now, we're going to have results next week on that for you. I'm Andy, and this is Oxford Sports. If you have an idea on sports or a score I need to know, email Jamie at octvnews@hotmail.com. Title it Jamie Sports. And in the words of Ron Burgundy, stay classy, Oxford.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, not for the squeamish, Marius, an 18-month-old male giraffe from Copenhagen Zoo, was put down last Sunday to the dismay of animal rights organizations. The Danish zoo said it was following rules of the European Association of Zoos and Aquaria to prevent inbreeding. Marius simply had the wrong genes. He was dissected in public and then fed to the lions. Yikes. More pleasantly, want to know the difference between a firefly and a glowworm? First, they aren't flies or worms. Both of them are beetles. In some species, only the larvae or females glow, and these wingless individuals are known as glowworms. In other species, males and females both have wings and emit a luminescent display. These are called fireflies or lightning bugs. The insects shot here by Belgian photographer Katrien Vermeer are fireflies in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee. The pictures are part of a sequence of work under the name Godspeed, an expression used by one of the forest rangers she spent time with. In this species, Photinus carolinus, the light show is particularly remarkable because the males, sometimes thousands at a time, synchronize their flashes. In the dark pause between the flashes, the females reply with their own dimmer signals. And why do females have weaker lights? Because they don't need to show off. The males will come to them. When they see a female's light, a literal green light of consent, males swarm around her, flashing wildly. When a pair are joined, they fly off to finish in peace. In our next story, powerful winds in the Pacific are largely responsible for the recent slowdown in global warming. The intense winds have encouraged heat to sink into the oceans. But as soon as the winds die down, the heat will escape again. Over the past 20 years, the trade winds that gust westwards across the Pacific have soared to unprecedented strengths. The strongest winds are now twice as powerful. These winds are far in excess of any climate models predicted and have not been considered in global temperature projections. So, Matthew England from the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia, and colleagues decided to see what would happen if actual wind levels were factored into the models. They discovered that 5 years of powerful trade winds was enough to spin up powerful ocean currents that buried warm surface water, bringing cooler water to the surface. Those cooler waters produce exactly the warming hiatus observed. The missing wind can account for the hiatus in its entirety, says England. Last year, Yu Kasaka and Shangping Shi of the Scripps Institute of Oceanography in California showed that the cooled surface waters in the Pacific could explain the hiatus. But until now, no one knew why those waters were so cool. This provides a mechanism, says Kosaka. So, why are the winds so strong? One reason may be a repeating pattern in the weather called the interdecadal Pacific Oscillation, IPO. In its current state, the IPO should produce stronger winds and cool surface water, says England. But the models capture less than half the magnitude at best, he says. England says the winds will inevitably return to normal. When that happens, the heat will escape to the atmosphere. Since warm water is buried only about 125 meters deep, the result could be very rapid warming. Warming, that is, not warning. Exactly when that will happen is difficult to predict, but if the hiatus follows the pattern of the IPO, it may last another 5 or 6 years, he says. Earlier studies had suggested an alternative explanation of the slowdown. Maybe Earth has been absorbing less heat because the sun was slightly dimmer or pollution was reflecting more heat out into space. If these factors are also in play, that could ultimately be bad news. That's because the slowdown should actually have been bigger with so many cooling processes at work, says England. People keep talking about the hiatus, but we should be talking about why the world hasn't cooled over the last decade, he says. If you add up all these factors, you would have expected to see somewhat of a cooling. Maybe our model should be predicting more sensitivity to greenhouse gas warming, he says. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Welcome to another segment of the news we call your weekly calendar of events, where we feature your weekly calendar of local Oxford and Addison community events, including charity, special fundraisers, and general community information. If you or your organization would like help to get your message out to the public, contact us for detailed information at our studio phone number at 248-628-9658, or you can go to our website at occtv.org. Friday, February 21st and Saturday, February 22nd at 7 p.m., the Brandon High School Performing Arts Center, 1025 South Ortonville Road in Ortonville, presents Annie, Get Your Gun. Tickets are available at the door for only $10, or for advance tickets, call Jody at 248-766-1289. The Leonard Summer Strawberry Festival Committee is meeting, and volunteers are needed to help coordinate the annual Strawberry Festival to be held July of this year. They're looking for people who want to get involved with booth rentals, entertainment, and almost every facet of interest. Requirements for all jobs: be prepared to meet nice, down-to-earth people and have fun. The Leonard Summer Strawberry Festival Committee meets at 6:30 p.m. on the first Monday of every month at the Roland Hall, 23 East Elmwood Street in Leonard. For more information, call Char Sotheby at 248-628-5924 or Phyllis Rowe at 248-628-5471. February is kindergarten enrollment month and for Oxford School District, so pre-enrollment by going online to oxfordschools.org, and parents should bring all required documents to the district's central office, 10 North Washington Street in downtown Oxford. Documents include 2 proofs of residency, original birth certificate, health appraisal completed by a doctor, immunization records, vision test, and your driver's license. For more information, call 248-969-5019. Saturday, March 1st, 2 p.m. at the Oxford Public Library. Come and see the entertaining act from one of public's favorite TV programs, America's Got Talent. Kelsey and her dancing dog, Bailey, will be at the library performing her act and sharing some of her doggy friend training techniques. To sit in on the show, register online or telephone 248-628-3034, extension 222. Friends and family won't want to miss this unique show. The number again is 248-628-3034, extension 222. The Oakland County Health Division is offering free vision screening for all county children entering kindergarten. This screening is required under state law, and to make an appointment, call 248-424-7070. Addison Township and Lake Orion Townships are still both seeking volunteers for Meals on Wheels drivers. If you're a senior and you have 1 hour per week to share, or 1 hour every other week, you can make sure that no senior goes hungry. For more information, call 248-628-3388 or 248-693-0440. On Tuesdays, March 18th, April 15th, and May 2nd at the Oxford Public Library, the ever-popular traditional bingo returns. Bring your friends, win an assortment of popular books. For more information, call 248-628-3034. If you have a local business, or if you are an interested person or organization wanting to show your support for local Oxford school sports, music concerts, or any of the many programs broadcast from our TV station, you could become a sponsor or an underwriter on OCTV. It's easier and it's inexpensive, and for more information, contact our service or our station manager, Bill Service, at 248-628-9658, or send him a message of interest to his email address at manager@occtv.org. Now, we at Oxford Community TV would like our television viewing public to learn more about your club or organization's special upcoming event or charity. So, if you would like to get your special event mentioned on our television show, just call us at 248-628-9658 or go to our website at occtv.org. Final reminder, check our OCTV viewing schedule for my good friend Bill Service, who always has interesting local stories and interviews on our Community Access program. This is Oxford Community Television, OCTV. I'm your host, Elgin Nichols. We invite you to join us again for the next segment of your weekly calendar of events.